Our discussions are basically on navigating the foreign exchange, actually in Uganda, and the issues that have come about it. And right about now, we're going to be discussing the digital currencies and forex penetration in Uganda. Now that we are, people are actually opting digital currencies. People will be trading online using digital currencies. So, I want to see how far people really embraced digital penetration in our country, Uganda. So, many topics are going to be discussed.
Yeah, I mean, these currencies have actually made foreign forex access really, because according to what I can see here, is that the number of mobile money wallets in Uganda has actually increased. That is from 20 million in 2019, that is to about 30 million in 2023. And this growth has been driven in part by the increasing use of digital currencies. So it's really something that maybe as we can be discussing this matter, we can be taking a look at how this impact really plays out through, as we take a look at the statistical figures in there and how they bring it out in there. We see that Ugandan farmers in rural areas can now use a mobile money wallet. That is to store and exchange digital currencies. This allows them to send and receive money from friends and family abroad. That is without having to go to a bank. Yes, you can actually see that the number of mobile money wallets increased from 20 million, and the volume of P2P. P2P means person to person. For those of you that have actually done online transactions, for even those that do forex trade, there is that aspect when you're trying to withdraw money person to person. You send somebody your dollars and they give you the money they have for them. P2P exchange rates in Uganda has also increased from $10 million in 2019 to $50 million in 2023. Yeah, so there is quite a positive aspect in there. And now for the aspect of P2P exchange rates, now we see that Ugandan business owners can now use P2P exchange to buy digital and sell digital currencies directly with other businesses, and this allows them to access foreign exchange at lower cost than traditional methods such as bank transfers, which have always been used. And now the business owners can also use digital currencies to make international payments.
Well, it's also important looking at East Africa, other East African countries. Actually, if you look at Kenya, the penetration at which people are using mobile money is high. So I believe we're going to be in an era where we're not going to be working with cash. All you have to do is use online transaction. I can send money to you straight on your phone. You don't need to go get it money, because now with the different pandemics that are coming in, the different epidemics that are coming in, we won't be having to exchange money, because it's for those that have communicable diseases. So definitely it is also important now that we're also in the line of going cashless. So people should actually embrace these digital currencies to prepare for what is coming ahead.
Very interesting.
And the fact, maybe the only issue could be the reason as why maybe just people have not really harnessed to, or not yet gotten the gist of it all, and the penetration is not quite as expected in Uganda, because of the people do not have much knowledge on the importance it brings in the economy. People are still backward. They're like, oh, I prefer using money. What if I give money to someone direct? I've sent the money. So with this technology, people are not started. They're like, oh, I don't trust, I have to go and take money to that person direct. So there's also that aspect of trust issues with the different, though mobile money people really appreciate. So, but we need more people engaging in that as we're planning for a cashless economy.
Okay. All right. Now, still as we get into these figures further, we see that the number of Ugandan businesses that actually accept digital currencies has increased. That is from 100 in 2019 to about 500 businesses that actually accept digital currencies. Now, we see that Ugandan e-commerce companies now accepting digital currencies as payment. Now, this allows Ugandan consumers to buy goods and services from the company without having to use credit card or bank account.
Oh.
Yeah.
You just use your phone. Yeah.
Very true.
But I've seen it. Have you seen an example is MTN? Have you seen the advert? It's using the guy goes to different and like, do you use mobile money like this? And like no, it's like guys like, oh, what am I doing here? So eventually someone will be like, you know what? I don't need to walk around with cash. All I need to do, have a meal, buy a clothes. I just send money to you and I go to my ways. And of course it will help actually with spending, because when you're depositing money, you know there is incur a little bit, of course, even when you're withdrawing. So it's going to save a lot of money. If I'm sending money to you using mobile phone, it's cheaper. And then the costs are slightly less.
Okay,
Yeah.
very interesting in there. But of course, despite the fact that we're using these digital currencies, we need to take into consideration the aspect of safety, because fraud cases, I feel like they're likely to really increase. I look at a scenario whereby somebody, you go to somebody's shop and you buy something, and they actually send you money, and you receive it.
And you think,
and before you know it, it's not real money.
it's not real money, it's just fraud.
It's just in air, something like that, you know. And with the manipulation which is happening lately, anything can happen.
I've actually had such an experience, and I saw money on my mobile money, and of course, sometimes you least expect you're going to get. So, and I get a call. Someone is like, you know, I sent money on your phone. Could you send it back? And you know, there was there was no money actually. They never even sent the money. Even if you went to withdraw, there was never money.
I mean, yeah, such fraud issues.
But that is why we are actually advocating for cyber security courses. People should invest. One of the skills that you could actually get yourself into IT information. You know, you could have the top company that deals with cyber security in Uganda. So prepare for that as well.
Okay, that is true, and we know that we're in the cybersecurity week, cybersecurity month, by the way. It's running through all the way. Those are things that we shall be taken into greater consideration. Well, now away from the digital currencies, we also take a look at how the Bank of Uganda policies when it comes to managing foreign exchange. From that, and we see that one specific policy that has had a positive impact, that is on forex market in Uganda, is the Bank of Uganda's use of foreign exchange reserves. And now here we see that the Bank of Uganda has a large amount of foreign currency reserves, which in turn can use to intervene, that is in the foreign exchange market, to buy or sell Ugandan shillings. Now we see that this can help to stabilize the value of the shilling and prevent excess volatility. You know, that changing ups and downs, it's all in here. For just to give an example, this very year the Bank of Uganda intervened in the foreign exchange market to sell Ugandan shillings and buy the US dollars. Now this helped to stabilize the value of the shilling to prevent it from depreciating, that is too sharply. So literally this was more of because for currencies which are really backed up by other instruments, another foreign exchange can actually act as a base to keep that currency much more strong. So when the Bank of Uganda decides to buy more, to get more dollars, that means the Ugandan shilling is actually being stable in some sort of a way. And we see that this has actually benefited. Now, the Bank of Uganda's use of foreign exchange reserves, you know, you also need to understand, has been effective. That is in stabilizing the value of the shilling, reducing volatility. Now this has benefited businesses and consumers alike. Now, for example, exporters can actually get a better price for their exports, and importers can get a better price, that is for their imports. So it's all playing out in some sort of a way. Very interesting. So lots of these interventions are done, and for the forex traders out there, you've seen most of these interventions by some of these major banks trying to come out, and you know, they try. I remember that time when the pound sterling was actually at the worst, during that time when the Brexit has just happened. And I remember when I looked at the chart of the pound sterling against the US dollar. I mean, the US dollar was just taking it so high. And for the people that traded during that time, they actually made some good money that were trading in favor of the dollar to go against the British pound. I personally participated during that time, I remember. But I saw it was really quite an interesting perspective in there. But the central bank had really to come in and see how they could regulate this to give it some sort of strength. Though it lasted for some time, they're shaky, and it was all in a down, what we call a downward trend. It was bearish, you know, bullish up, bearish down. So that is what is really, I mean, that is what is always expected of the central banks to do. Now, it is important to also note that the Bank of Uganda's use of foreign exchange reserves is not without its risks. You know, of course, there are risks associated with something. If the Bank of Uganda intervenes too much, that is in the foreign exchange market, we see that it can actually lead to distortions in the market and unintended consequences. You know, of course, which we can look into sometime on later. But however, we also know that the Bank of Uganda has generally been careful, that is to use its foreign exchange reserves in a way that is beneficial, that is to the economy. Yes, so at some point in time, we can also get to see like maybe like part of the consequences when there is some sort of excess intervention of the central bank, because if you have too much of the foreign revenue and you know it gets into excess, it can also actually affect you. I mean, it can devalue your shilling. So that means you lose identity as a country when it comes to exchange, you know, because you have more of a foreign currency more than a shilling. Yet, if you could actually focus on how you can value that shilling, you know, you could actually focus more on exports. Let it happen naturally by the law of demand and supply. If you try to manipulate it further and further, it can actually be very damaging. It's like the central bank raising interest rates at quite very high amounts in there. That can also be a little bit of effective in some sort of a way. So all these strategies are quite very key and important when it comes to that. Yes, we are discussing the digital currencies on forex penetration in Uganda, and we see how there has been quite a positive impact as a result of that. But of course, as we get into this break, when we return, we are going to be taking a look at the foreign exchange rate volatility and its impact on investment. And we are also going to look at real life scenarios where companies had planned to invest in Uganda, but they didn't. Why? Because they looked at the Ugandan shilling depreciating, appreciating, so it was quite volatile, and they decided to cut on the amount of money they were actually supposed to spend in the country Uganda, and they spent it somewhere else. What does this mean? We lost some sort of foreign exchange because foreign direct investment was being halted at about 10%, you know, something which was supposed to be like that. But of course, to remind you that all these discussions on the show are powered by Zabu, which is a platform for politics, which just made your training experience much more easy. They are now all in operation. You can kindly participate by simply dialing *292 hash, which is the USSD code, and when you dial this, you'll be able to actually buy bonus securities for a fee of 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now at 8:15 a.m. that's when the markets open, and at up to from 8:15 a.m. rather up to 3:15 p.m. that is East African time. This is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends or the public holidays when those markets cannot be accessed. But of course, that's not the big deal. At least you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money. It's something which I believe it's quite key and important when it comes to your financial growth and development. So Zaba made this a reality for you, and that's why it comes out and boldly tells you that it's my money, it's my future. And also East Africa also is part of this and tells you that you need to do something new for yourself. Remember, we are in 2023. Well, it's exactly 9:20. Of course, we are driving you through all this, but of course, we take a break, and when we return, Shall we come in to wrap this up? Look at direct foreign investment. How is it affecting? How is the volatility of the forex, most especially the Ghana shilling, affecting the direct foreign direct investments rather? And also, there is something here to do with foreign exchange in the lives of Ugandans residing in diaspora. Did you know that actually remittances from people from diaspora have created about 100,000 jobs for the people out there? Of course, we shall be bringing down that further when we return. Stick around.